guys, it's Matt. Welcome to the first episode, the first bonus episode that we've had, which we're calling Trail Mix. Just mixing it up a little bit. Today's content is going to be about a visit that I took to 4A Coffee Roasters. If you listened to our last episode with Alan Draper, Trail Map episode with Alan Draper, we got a chance to get to know Alan. And then I got to spend a day with him at the coffee roaster, learning about the roasting process and about tasting coffee. And I'm really excited to share the footage. And thanks again to Alan for having us in. So you'll see Trail Mix hopefully starting to be part of our feed of new episodes. We're going to use Trail Mix as an opportunity to do different kinds of things, whether it's an on-site visit with somebody or talking to somebody about a project that they've started that's really inspiring and lighting them up. And so really excited to share this new format with you guys. Definitely keep the feedback coming, and hope you enjoy this first Trail Mix. Good morning, guys. I'm here in the car headed to 4A Coffee Roasters in Newton, Mass. Pretty excited about today. It's the first time on Trail Map that we're taking it to the road and going to do a little bit of additional footage of us at the coffee roaster with Alan Draper, who's the founder and owner there, learning about the coffee roasting process. Talk to you soon. Let's head on in to meet Alan and talk to him about the roasting process here at 4A. Hey, Alan, how's it going?
Good.
Thank you so much for having us to 4A today.
Yeah, welcome to our little boutique coffee roastery here in Newton.
Yeah, it's an awesome space. Yeah. I got to see it for the first time a couple months ago, and I definitely am a huge fan of 4A. I used to go to your cafe in Brookline, but now Alan runs a e-com coffee roasting business. Yeah. So how's that going for you?
It's great. We had a lot of past customers who've come on board again. They've canceled their subscriptions that they got when we were gone.
Yeah.
We were doing an online business through the cafe, but now just focusing on coffee, we can put a little bit more effort into it, a little bit more focus.
That's awesome.
Yeah, we're very thrilled about that.
That's awesome. Yeah, it's really cool to see local manufacturing like this. I don't know if you even consider yourself a manufacturer, but like producing a product like this, really high attention to detail and quality. So excited to learn a bit more from you today about the process.
Absolutely, yeah. This was kind of a dream. We're so close to Boston. People can't see, but the Charles River is right there, about 100 yards away from us. Yeah. And this gives us a great distribution point. So we can get the coffee in small amounts. We don't keep a lot of stock.
Sure.
Have it nice and fresh crop, get it roasted, roast it well, and then ship it out the same day or the next day. So that's
awesome. I know as a customer, I'm a big fan. So excited to learn more about the process today. Thanks for having us again.
Absolutely. Yeah, so basically we're starting with feeding the coffee through this pneumatic feeder into the hopper of the drum roaster. Today, this is a 15-pound batch. Yeah, and this just saves anyone from having to go way up high and lift 50 pounds. This is a 55-pound batch roaster, so it can be quite heavy. And we'll turn that on. It'll be sucked through the tube and into the hopper. That's just a little dust, green coffee dust we call it.
Smells good.
Yeah, it's just some solubles that are kind of been shaken up during the transportation process.
Okay.
So we're up here now. We're just waiting for the roaster to warm up. As it's warming up, I can explain this piece of equipment, which I've always wanted. It's a big hunky piece of equipment, but it does a job that's very important when they're drying the coffee on cement patios, which is what they mostly do unless they're doing it on a raised bed, which is limited. They'll spread the coffee out on the patios, and every now and then you'll get a little stone. And it could be the best coffee in the world, the most expensive, the most carefully processed coffee, but you sometimes get a stone, and it's kind of something that roasters are a little anxious about. And that really requires the roaster to really be observant of anything that might be in the cooling tray as it's cooling to see if there's any stones. But this is an added protection. It's not perfect, but what it does, it's a big vacuum and it goes by weight. So it's calibrated and leave the stones behind. So that's that. So once we start the roast here, just a couple of minutes, the coffee's waiting up here in the hopper. We'll start the drum and we'll get the ball rolling. This is our blend. Most blends I won't roast together, but this particular blend we developed over 20 years ago. We found that all of the coffees had the same discharge point, the same temperature, the same color. They were all working together. Some are just a little bit darker than the others, some are a little bit more dense, but as a whole, it works together. So that's what we're doing today, our Silk Root blend. And I'll just wait till that comes up to about 415 temperature. That's a good spot to what we call charge the beans. Charging is when you release the beans into the drum, and that's very important in the whole process because the roast is going to follow a curve, and the beginning of that curve is determined by the temperature you start at. There are many other factors as well. The heat of the drum has an impact. We don't want that drum to be too hot, so when I do back-to-back roasts, I'll give it a second to kind of get back to its cooler temp. So we'll just wait for this about 5 minutes or so, and that should be ready to go. Yep.
Is it right, Alan, that like the main levers that you have for roasting are sort of time and temperature?
Yeah. I mean, there's a lot of artistry involved, and there's a lot of chemistry.
Yeah.
I won't go into the chemistry because I'm not as versed as some people. This is more of a hands-on, artisanal approach.
Yeah.
But, working with these coffees for so many years, I kind of know how they like to be roasted. A lot of factors that determine how coffee should be roasted differently is the amount of acidity that's inside the bean. So certain coffees, like a Kenya with a high acidity or a Costa Rica, sometimes if I know what the acidity is trying to achieve, I might give it a little more time under high heat in the beginning.
Okay.
But most coffees follow a similar curve, and I release them at different points. Certain African coffees don't tend to do so well at a darker level. So even though I consider myself kind of approaching a dark roast, I don't want certain coffees to be too dark.
Got it.
A coffee like a Sumatra, I'll go well into the second crack because that's kind of our profile, is that each coffee has a certain taste and flavor profile that has a reduced acidity.
Got it.
So basically the longer, the darker you roast a coffee, the more you reduce the perceived acidity of the coffee. So that's kind of what we're trying to achieve. And that's just our style.
Yeah.
Coffee is apparently twice as complex as wine, over 800 flavor compounds.
Wow.
So people have different expectations from coffee. So we might not suit everyone's taste.
Sure.
But we're definitely hit a certain demographic.
Yeah.
Kind of post Starbucks, but not quite what they did in what they call the third wave, was everyone going real light.
Yeah.
We just found that our personal taste was to have more of a muted acidity.
Got it. And how does you're sourcing beans year round? How does seasonality play into what you see in terms of bean quality or variations in flavor?
Yeah. No, I mean that's kind of an issue. Coffee lasts in its green state for a year or two. Some people say 10 months. But each coffee, which is determined by its density and its moisture level, will last a bit longer.
Okay.
But there's nothing like fresh coffee from, say, 2026 that's just been picked. It should rest, of course.
Okay.
And they do rest them for up to 3 months at origin.
Yeah.
Because they've just been picked, and I won't get into the chemistry here, there's still a lot of into the processing method, there's a lot of reactions that are still going on that need to settle.
Got it.
Yeah, it's a lively little seed.
Yeah. And how is like weather changes, so like climate change and other factors?
Yeah.
I've heard about coffee getting more and more expensive.
Yeah.
I'm curious about that.
Yeah. There's been obviously market volatility. Due to recent administrative decisions. The tariff on Brazil created a little bit of a chaotic event.
Okay.
Preceding that, the market was getting real high. And I won't get into the history of the C market, which is how coffee is traded.
Yeah.
But there was once a kind of a quota system, and it was predetermined. Now, again, most coffee was still coming from the Western Hemisphere at the time, in this part of the world.
Yeah.
So that there weren't big booms and busts where there was an overproduction or an underproduction. There were certain measures that they instituted. And there were agreements between buyers and producers that kind of controlled the market a little bit. And that ended a few decades ago and created kind of a volatile market that we see today. When I came back in 2012, when we started in Brookline, the market was really low, and it was great for us. So we had a lot of breathing room. Coming back into this venture, the market is extremely high. And so
which puts pressure on you and your margins, right?
And the importers
Yeah.
So Brazil has been a kind of a tricky coffee for us. We use it a lot in our blend, our Silk Root blend. So it's been bottlenecked a little bit, and it's been a little bit hard to get. So Brazil, the price of Brazil has actually surpassed the price of Kenya.
Oh, wow.
Which is classically the most expensive coffee,
Okay.
overall.
Okay.
All right, so this is the initial drying phase. As you know, coffee is very green. It's got a moisture level anywhere from 10 to 13, 14%, depending on the bean. And that's basically the first 4 or 5 minutes. You're just drying the coffee out. And then it'll begin to yellow. And then we'll have the Maillard process, which is sugars and amino acids reacting to create browning. And that'll happen at about 280 degrees, 300. Every 30 seconds. Now it's down to about 16 degrees every 30 seconds. So it's rising 16 degrees Fahrenheit every 30 seconds. And that's dropping. I'm going to just take a look. So we're still pretty green. We're starting to yellow.
Okay.
Just barely starting to yellow. So.
And when you were in your space in Brookline, you were roasting in that location too, right?
Yeah. Yes.
You were roasting in the. So you had a lot going on in there. Between the roasting and the
and running around.
Yeah.
I like to do everything myself.
Yeah.
I'm kind of a control freak. So yeah.
Well, the best things are created by control freaks, I think.
Yeah. The nice thing about that was I could control the whole process. So,
So what's your ideal at-home brewing method?
I always liked French press, and people in the industry will laugh at me because it's the most imprecise, but I like the body of it.
Yeah.
I like the comfort of it. And in the morning, I do like a little bit of milk, but it's not the cleanest method.
Yeah.
Probably for me, as a home method, outside of espresso, would be the AeroPress. Because with the AeroPress, you have steep time, which is what you get with a French press. You also have the pressure, even more than a French press sometimes. And you also have a clean cup because it goes through a very fine filter. And so you've got a lot of good attributes.
I haven't tried the AeroPress yet, but I'd like to.
Yeah. So. My daughter does it in college.
She does?
Yeah.
That's kind of the perfect dorm room equipment.
Yeah. Absolutely. Yeah. So it's really humid today.
Yeah.
And even though this is pretty hermetic inside the drum, moisture still plays a factor.
Sure.
There's moisture in that pipe, that stack. The beans have been sitting in a little bit of moisture overnight. So I noticed that the heat was a little higher than usual. It's developing a little quicker, but it's okay. I make adjustments. And that's why I don't like to fully automate this. And because the roasting curve has changed, I'll have a final temperature that's different from the last time I roasted coffee. Another thing I like to do when I'm roasting is I don't like to make adjustments very often. I like a nice even roast.
Yep.
So what I've just done now, because heat is also energy. I want the energy to be stable. So as I saw it was dropping down a little bit, I'm looking at my rate of rise. I reduced the fan speed.
Okay.
So modern roasters also have a fan that helps to create a little bit more airflow in the drum, which will shoot out the back. And the nice thing about that is you don't have to make a flame adjustment. It's a much subtler adjustment. So I kept my flame at the same level. I just dropped the fan a little bit.
Got it.
And then now I'm at the rate of rise that I want.
And is it gas? It's a gas?
Yeah, it's gas. Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. So soon we'll get to the first crack. And what that is, so most roasters roast their coffee between the first and second crack. Once you get into the second crack, you're getting into dark roast. Because I've done a lot of dark roast, I've done light roast, it's starting to crack now. The more you go into that second crack, really the more you're creating kind of this carbon-like taste, which is kind of that Starbucks taste, the old Starbucks. In a way, you're burning the coffee. I like to go to a certain point because I also like the comfort of a roasty flavor, and that's just me. And other people obviously do too. So,
I definitely prefer that.
yeah.
Some of the lighter roasts, I feel like there are too many off notes, and the comfort of the roastiness is nice. So,
and it's the naked coffee.
Yeah.
So if there are any blemishes, you're gonna taste it.
You're gonna taste it. Yeah. A lot of variability.
Yep. All right, so now the rate of rise is dropping considerably. I've dropped the fan because, like I said, I like a good even roast. You can hear the first crack.
Yep.
And what's happening is the coffee is kind of put together the way it was formed in its embryonic phase within the cherry, is that it has this kind of fold over.
Yep.
And as it expands, that kind of pops.
Okay.
And some moisture is released, which sometimes can create what they call an exothermic atmosphere. So if my flame is too low, as the moisture is released, you'll have kind of a drop in temp.
Okay.
And if I have enough energy going into the first crack, I don't need to make any changes. But since I slowed it down a bit, I noticed that my my rate of rise was dropping a little bit more than I wanted it to.
Okay.
So now we're going into the developmental phase. We've passed the Maillard process, and now we're into this browning phase.
Oh yeah, look at that.
So that's kind of a cinnamon roast, what they
Okay.
call. All temperature readings are different based on the drum size, the probe. This has an infrared probe, but the bead temperatures I'll get here, the bead temperature I'll get there, has to do with how much volume is in that drum.
Okay.
So nobody can tell you no one can give you a formula. It all has to be done on site, which is kind of fascinating. All right, we're almost done here, so I'm gonna stop talking.
Real art.
Yeah. You can never copy someone's roast profile.
Yeah.
You just saw that smoke. That's a coffee that is starting to enter the dark phase of coffee. But this is not a dark roast. And this is a problem. It's a terminology that's different for everyone. And especially Coffee Association of America has guidelines. They're based on color and temperature. But as I said before, temperature is never the same from one setting to another.
Yeah.
So this is very brown and beige. I do have a couple of natural coffees in here, which roast differently and have different moisture levels. So that's why you see some of the lighter beans. If they're really light, that's what they call a Quaker. And we don't like Quakers. These are Quakers.
I see, yeah.
So I'll get them from time to time. Some coffees are so good as coffees, but they were processed a little bit carelessly, but they're still good. And so sometimes I'll take a coffee and I'll just kind of, with my gloves, I'll pick out some of the Quakers, because that's just a little bit of laziness in an otherwise very grueling process of harvesting, processing, drying, and shipping coffee is such a grueling process.
Yeah.
Labor intensive, I should say, and grueling for the pickers. I've done it. Many people have gone to Origin and they pick coffee.
Yeah.
And it's almost like picking blueberries or strawberries. It's fun for a while.
Yeah.
But you're doing it all day.
It's a lot of work.
It's a lot of work, yeah. So And by the way, at origin, especially in poorer countries, they have migrant traveling pickers, and they travel with their families.
Got it.
And their kids. And at some of the really good farms, especially Rainforest Alliance, they'll actually have dormitories, they'll have cooking areas, they'll have schools for the kids. So the kids gain informal schooling at some of these places.
Yeah. How much traveling have you done to Origin?
I've been to Origin 5 times.
Okay.
I'm definitely not an expert on processing, but I've definitely, really observed and asked a lot of questions.
Yeah. That's cool.
But in some of the poorer countries, the children will actually pick too. And at first you're like, oh, that's exploitative, but the parents are pretty good at limiting how much they do.
Yeah.
And I think it's something that kids, they're always kind of doing things anyway that are keeping them busy. And I don't know where I'm at on that, and I haven't seen a lot of it. Yeah. But sometimes that's an issue. Yeah. So definitely, the nice thing about small roasters and small importers is they're importing responsibly. Yeah. And they're choosing partners responsibly. I did an origin trip in Nicaragua, and I saw all different kinds of coffee farms and processing stations, from the Rainforest Alliance, which were beautiful, to kind of non-transparent, big production, non-traceable, in really bad conditions. And I could smell them hundreds of yards away before we entered the farm, because they weren't cleaning their tanks. Yeah. They had a lot of putrefaction of spent, coffee cherry, and bad water processing, dumping water right back into the river. At really good farms, they'll filter and manage the water before they release it back into the general, water source.
So there's like an environmental impact on not farming responsibly, but what about on the coffee quality? Like, do you start to see problems with the coffee because of that?
Yeah. I mean, what I do is just about 20% to do with the quality of the coffee. Yeah. And 60% is at origin. Of course, once you make the coffee, a lot of people forget this, that you can screw it up. You can screw up the best coffee. Yeah, yeah. So that's important, but they're doing all the work. How carefully they process and pick this coffee is everything. Yeah. And the cultivar. So
this is cooling the beans right now?
Yeah, we're in the cooling phase. So basically, we've got a fan under here, and it's flipped. Yeah. So it's drawing atmospheric air through the beans. And
so like on a day like today that's humid, are the beans picking up moisture now as they cool, or?
Not really. Yeah. It's a pretty hardy thing. Obviously, it expands. Yeah. It gets bigger. It almost doubles in size. Okay. And it loses, like I said, anywhere from, depending how dark you roast it, the more you roast, the more weight it loses. Yeah, yeah. Which is another incentive for lighter roasts. Yeah. You notice there's no oil on the surface. Yep. Which tells you the roast level a little bit. As it starts to rest, the cellular structure is starting to continues to break down up until 10 days. And when that happens, as the cellular structure inside is breaking down, some of those lipids will release to the surface, and you'll have it shiny, oily. Yep.
And without sharing anything proprietary, like the Silk Root blend it's a combination of different beans. Yeah. How long did it take you to come up with that combo? Was it just sort of gradual, or?
It actually didn't take that long. Okay. And we changed it about 2 years into Brookline. I added a little bit more of another natural. Yeah. And it was like Coke in old Coke. Yeah. There was one guy from Canada who preferred the original. Yeah. And I also like the original. And I thought about going back so many times. Yeah. But I had already put this out there so much. Yeah. There is a difference, and it's a little bit less berry and a little bit more floral. Okay.
So much precision. There's it's like real art in addition to the science.
Yeah,
So
there is a not, like,
Yeah.
I think a lot of it is care
yeah,
and, like, wanting to do the best, but
yeah,
precision and care is really the most. You're trying to get, you know, my thing is I'm trying to get the best coffees that are actually affordable,
yeah,
and everybody's trying to do that.
yeah.
Yeah, so when I got back, when I came here, first I went to Kazakhstan in the early 2000s, and I was already like, no, everyone's going too light. This isn't right. It's too much of a shift in the other direction.
Yeah.
So I went like more medium to dark.
Yeah, it does feel, I think you and I talked about this last time, it does feel like there's trends going the other direction to darker roast.
Yeah. All right, we're ready to go.
Okay.
So yeah, I'm gonna release this into here, and this is almost all built in Germany, but this hunker was built here, and I think a welder built it.
Okay.
You know, it's, you're gonna see it's a little clunky.
Does the job though.
Yeah, this is the part that I don't like, is that I lose a few beans sometimes.
Got it.
All right, so I'm checking for stones.
Looks like beans.
Yep, no stones. And I don't see any really defective coffee here. These might just be a little bit lighter,
Yeah.
a little bit more misshapen. So yeah, we're good.
Cool.
In a professional cupping, for any sample, like say we're cupping Ethiopia,
Yeah.
you need to do 3. Because if there's a lack of uniformity,
Yeah.
if there's a defect, it might be in one and not the others.
I see.
But we're only going to do 1
Okay.
each. So I figured we do 1 Ethiopian natural,
Okay.
and then Honduras, which is washed.
Okay, sounds
They're
good.
both organic. So it's about 8.25 grams. These are SCA standards to 150 milliliters of water. So whenever you're sampling a new coffee or any coffee, you have to kind of purge the grinder a bit. So I'm going to just put a little bit extra in each sample. The important thing is that there is 8.25 grams here. And usually people will do it right into the cup here.
So what are the 2 here?
It's the Ethiopian natural.
Okay.
Yeah, so to really smell it, I know it looks a little bit, but you have to bury your head in there. Because what happens is your nose is competing with everything else.
Yeah, it's one of those things. I did a class when I was working in the food industry. I did a class on tasting and like sort of qualitative, how you taste things and like the words you use.
Yeah.
And I feel like I need like training for coffee.
Everyone does.
Yeah.
Everything is a vocabulary.
Well, could you tell me what you smell with these 2?
Yeah. Yep. Well, do you see a huge difference in the 2 coffees? I mean, do you perceive a huge difference?
So, the Ecuador smells really fruity to me.
Yes. Ethiopia.
Sorry, Ethiopia smells really fruity to me.
You got that. Yep. You got that.
Is it like a stone fruit type?
You know when they when you professionally evaluate, you're
Yeah.
not supposed to tell each other what you think.
Okay. Yeah.
But so we're not doing that.
Yeah.
So
I'm learning here.
no.
Yeah.
Because I don't want to influence you.
Yeah.
I get a little bit of a blueberry, strawberry. I think the citrus for me would be more with the Honduras, kind of like just a hint of maybe like a. Hold on, let me see. Yeah, maybe a little plum, maybe a little stone fruit here. Now this is the dry aroma. You're going to get a little bit more when we do the wet aroma.
The most significant difference that I smell between these two are the Ethiopia is just like a fruitiness.
Yeah.
I see what you mean, but I don't know that I really get that. And then the Honduras is more anchored in like a roasty coffee or chocolatey sort of flavor.
Yep.
I think probably for me, I would be more drawn towards the Honduras just on aroma.
Interesting, yeah.
But
yeah, interesting.
Yeah.
Okay. When they're evaluating, they're not evaluating for particular notes.
Mm-hmm.
They're evaluating based on those attributes that I gave you: flavor, body, aftertaste, balance, overall flavor. So that's what's most important. This is all kind of subjective in a way.
Yeah.
So.
Yeah, one of the things that I learned too is that probably starting with the olfactory is better for perception. Once you start drinking, then your taste buds are like, can't taste the difference between anything.
That's right,
So,
that's right,
yeah.
that's right.
So what's the rationale for having versus filtering the grounds, like having the grounds in the cup as you're cupping it?
Well, right here I'm getting all the advantages of without, the kind of inherent like physics issues of certain things, because even in your best pour over, you're still working with a funnel.
Yep.
And you're not getting the exact even extraction that you want. And then also there's no filter that could create an issue of perception if the filter causes any off flavor. And we'll let that steep 4 minutes.
Okay.
This is just to rinse the spoon. So each time, especially if you're going between coffees. So what we'll do is we'll break the crust and we'll evaluate the wet aroma, or what they call the fragrance. And after that happens, we'll clean all the grounds from the top.
Okay.
And then we'll evaluate the coffee 3 different times. We'll make 3 passes.
Okay.
And the reason for that, as you probably know, is you want to see how coffee does as it starts to cool.
Okay.
Some coffees can be great hot and then lose their...
Interesting.
So we'll go through 3 times. So when that hits 4, we'll break. Okay. We're just going like that. It's basically just releasing all of the aroma and fragrance here. That's it. Yep, and you really... Yep. You're getting a little more, right?
It's interesting the parts of the fragrance that are maintained from the dry beans and the parts that you get less of too.
Yes, yep.
Cool.
Yeah. Okay, so now what we're going to do is clean all of this off the top, which is a little bit tricky, but it's not that tricky. And it's basically taking 2 spoons Of course, you won't get all of it, but
Yeah.
and I completely finish one before I get to the other, so you don't cross-contaminate, so
Okay.
to speak.
It seems like maybe when I took the crust off the top, a lot of the, maybe did the grounds
okay.
like fall
That's
in the
okay.
cup?
That's okay. We're only taking very small slurps.
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
And you can see the surface.
Yeah.
There's no grounds.
Yeah.
Nothing's going to get into your throat.
Yeah. Okay.
Yeah.
Cool.
And then we'll take the first pass. Oh yeah. Oh yeah. So the key is to pucker your lips and
Yeah. Yeah.
and it could go down your throat. And the more you can accentuate
The
that
slurping.
movement.
Yeah.
I mean, people screech when they slurp. Oh, I love this coffee. Oh,
It's really
I
good.
shouldn't say that as
Yeah.
we're evaluating.
No,
but
it's really good.
I love this coffee.
Well, it's just interesting because I feel like some of the fruity notes were initially, I was like, is this too light for me? But
Yeah.
I don't get that at all in the liquid form.
No,
Yeah. It's delicious.
that's my goal. Is I want to
Yeah.
make it fruity, but
Yeah.
not unpleasant
Yeah.
fruity.
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
Thank you. All right.
I got to work on my screech slurp.
Yep.
You doing the other one now?
Yep. We're supposed to be spitting this out,
Right.
but I
it's
haven't.
too good.
Yeah. And I haven't had too much caffeine today.
Yeah. Yeah.
If you want, I can get you a spit cup.
That's okay.
I got it right there. Just
Yeah.
say the word.
No,
Yeah.
I'm good. Wow. You know, I thought that I was going to like the Honduras more, but I think I like the Ethiopia more,
Yeah.
just purely subjectively.
Yeah.
So
I think you might be right.
they're both good.
You know, this Honduras could have a lot more flavor, a little bit lighter. I can see that this level of roast
You
is
might lose
muting
some. Yeah.
But this is what I want, because I think, and I've done it, you know, I did some sample roasts. As you get lighter, some of those flavors might be a little overbearing for some people.
Sure.
So I know I'm losing some,
Yeah.
but what I'm gaining is a little bit more of a cozy comfort
Yeah.
feel. But this Honduras is interesting. It does not like a dark roast.
Hey,
Okay, I'm not supposed to tell you my impressions, but
please do.
this this Honduras actually gets better as it cools, for me,
Yeah.
or it doesn't lose. So if I gave it an initial score, I can draw an arrow up or down.
Okay.
So I would score this on flavor, and I would actually, if I didn't get a high score, I would draw an arrow
Okay.
on my evaluating sheet.
Okay.
So this, I'm actually impressed with this. I'm getting a little bit of maple syrup, a little bit of molasses. Oh, wow. That Ethiopia is like a strawberry. Oh my God. These naturals are tricky because they can be single note. You're just getting berry, and it's intense, sometimes sour. But this one's so rounded to me.
Trail Map is hosted by Matt Gregory and Patrick Direwolf. Editing and production by Matt Gregory. Music by Patrick Direwolf. Animation direction by Hati Nguyen and Nana Teja Paibel.